Okay, so let's talk about the Heated Rivalry tie-in book covers. What a tie-in book cover means is that after an adaptation of a book comes out, you get new covers of the book that features aspects of the show and features mentioning of the show. So like, oh, this has been on television, you may know this from TV. This could involve elements of the typography of the TV show. It could feature the characters and showing the characters and sort of the general vibe. It mentions that it's been on a TV channel, that sort of thing. And since this is part of a book series, you also want to make sure that there's a possibility to extend it beyond the specific book that it's adapting. And you want to include an element that makes sure not only is this part of a TV show, it is part of a series of books, something that happens also quite frequently. But this could also include sort of the general visual style of the show. And since I would argue Heated Rivalry has a relatively recognizable lighting and cinematography style, you may want some aspects of that on the book cover as well so that people can recognize it better. So let's look about some of the previous covers and the current cover that we have. So this was the very first cover that they had. It doesn't really tell you that much about the show. It doesn't like explicitly say hockey. It doesn't communicate anything other than gay and hot, which is not wrong. Now, the current cover looks like this, and it's much more friendly. You have romance, you have hockey, but it does look a little YA. Like, it goes a little against what the TV show is doing, which is certainly very adult. Like, this is giving, I don't want to say heartbreaker, but it is certainly giving red, white, and royal blue. And the show is a romance, but it's not quite as frivolous and not quite as YA as this is. And then we have the poster from the TV show. And we do have the two main characters, and they're facing off, and it's kind of a little bit of a romantic tension. And they do have the logo, and they have a couple of elements here that make sense. But I don't know where those colors are from. That's not what the TV show looks like. It's very naturalistic, and this is not. I guess the like mildly bisexual lighting does make this look a little bit more gay, but it makes it look a little bit cartoony, which again, I don't think this reflects either the content or the visual style of the show. So here's what needs to be on the cover. First of all, you need to start with Connor Starr and Hudson Williams. Like, they need to be prominent. They need to be in focus. You have to have the show, and the show is the two of them at this point. You also want to show some sort of romantic tension. Like, this is from the Quinn photo shoot. Like, something that indicates not only are these two looking at you, like in the previous GQ shot, but like this is a thing where they're in a potentially romantic relationship. At least there's romantic tension. Another thing you want is ice hockey needs to be in there in some sort of way. Like, you can't show them in a suit, or certainly not in fairy wings in like a field or whatever. But like, this is a hockey show. This is what people know it for. There needs to be some sort of hockey on there. Also, these two are some of the most recognizable faces in Hollywood right now. You want to make sure those faces aren't framed, those faces are in focus. Also, the show has a recognizable visual style, like I said, so you want to make sure some of that appears on the cover. People have seen the show, people have seen edits. You want to make sure that people will be able to see the book cover and make that connection. So then in the end, the visual has to be something along those lines, right? Like, there's the two of them, their faces are recognizable. I know this is AI, but like, walk with me here. Recognizable faces, they're in focus. It's ice hockey, they're in romantic tension. It's a little bit uneasy, but it's also kind of hot. And they're in an ice hockey stadium. They're wearing an ice hockey uniform. This is sort of like the key visual that you want on the cover. So to start with, this is the kind of picture. Obviously, you'd need to have a photo shoot for this. Like, I wouldn't do it illustrated because, again, this is a very cinematic style of the TV show. So you would want photography. And also, AI just looks weird. So no, but something along those lines. In terms of layout and typography, like, here's the Italian cover where they've basically taken the regular cover, but they've replaced it with the show logo, sort of. The show logo has slightly modified typography and this does not, but it's fine. This is a smart thing to do, obviously. I think the French cover has also done this. Like, you want to use, for sure, the logo of the TV show. Something that you do want to do that I don't think the English version has done so far is indicate on the cover that this is part of a book series. The Italian version doesn't do this. The English version also doesn't do this. You want to do this. You want to make sure it says Game Changers or something along those lines. Like, there are several books. This is the second one. Keep that in there somewhere. So here's an example of how that's done with Bridgerton, where you see sort of an illustrated version, but it is the actors of the show. It is not some of the characters as they existed before the show. Characters of the show. And then the other thing you want to keep in mind is how do you mention the TV show? So as you can see over there, it says Netflix inspires this TV show based on Bridgerton, etc. something. Netflix needs to be somewhere, or in this case, HBO Max or Crave specifically. So you want to mention the station. The way Bridgerton has done this, and the way this is very common, is you have these round stickers that say like "as seen on TV," or "as seen on Netflix," or something like that. Which I'm not the biggest fan in the world of. Like it looks like an afterthought when like clearly this whole cover has been designed for people who have seen the TV show, and then to have a sticker on it's like, oh, also on TV. No, the people are already on the characters on TV, like the actors. Overall, I prefer how the Magicians have done this. I don't know if you know this TV show, but like, so this is the tie-in cover, and it has done things almost the way I would do them for Heated Rivalry. On the top, it says book one of the Magician's trilogy, so it indicates there's a trilogy of books. It even has the name of the other books on there, which I don't think is feasible for Heated Rivalry because there's just too many of them. It has the main character from the TV show in the center, like the actor, in sort of like themed magic position. And at the bottom, it says series on sci-fi. So like it mentioned the TV show, it mentioned the series, it has the main character on it. It focuses on the headline, which is designed in the way of the logo of the TV show. So I think this is the right thought process. So here's how I would do it for Heated Rivalry, or at least this would be my brief for the cover of Heated Rivalry. I'm not saying design it exactly like this, but I would say it has to be something along those lines. Again, the lighting is from the TV show. It has the two main characters in it. You feature their faces. They're recognizable. It indicates that it's part of the Game Changer series. You use the logo of the TV show. You indicate that it's a TV show on Crave or whatever like country the book cover is published in. You want to use the TV show in there. And then it says the name of the author and New York Times bestselling author. So this is the direction that I would see the book cover tie-ins for Heated Rivalry look like. What are your thoughts? Like, do you have any questions about how I arrived at this particular design? Do you have any questions about why I made certain decisions that I made? Or do you have any thoughts about this? Please let me know.